Hi everyone, Day here, and welcome back to my Let's Play of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. In the last episode, I had just finished the summation examination. Upon doing so, Joan fainted. Well, she fainted before they actually took a vote, so she didn't even get a chance to partake in that part, but we did win. Thankfully, fair play. Well, not even just fair play, but fair play surprised me in actually voting to continue on with the trial. I think that he might actually be a good man despite, holding on to maybe a little bit of not hatred, but maybe he felt like a little betrayed by things in the last trial. I really don't remember how things turned out for him in the last trial. Anyways, I don't want to ramble. I do want to hop right back into it. So we'll go, I want to say it's this one. I saved it. Yes. So as over I was was not supposed to be the judges in the first place.
So, as a result of the defense's summation examination, a number of jurors' leanings have changed. 2 jurors called guilty, against 4 now calling innocent. Accordingly, the opinion of this court is divided. And this trial will continue.
It looks like it leans more towards not guilty.
Now then, Lord Von Zieks, how does the prosecution wish to proceed?
He needs a drink because he finds the jury to be simpletons in the way that they are easily swayed based off of feelings and stuff. See, I deliberately did not look at what he said at first, but then I read it.
This trial is rapidly descending into a farce.
He's allowing it to happen, though. I want to say that he can interject at any time during the summation examination, but he rarely ever speaks up.
Like a corked wine, the first few sips are bitter enough. But what follows is so repugnant, it's good for nothing save the gutter. If I may, Lord Von Zieks, the defense has just put forward a credible alternative explanation for what happened. Credible? Is that your considered opinion, Mr. Ford? The defense's argument is a joke, to which I barely know how to respond. But let me start by insisting that you must all familiarize yourselves better with the relative positions of those places being discussed.
What do you mean by that? What's his angle this time?
It should already be more than apparent that between the crime scene and the Gerdeb household.
This is what I wanted to see all along. After the end of the last trial, and juror number 3, my favorite, mentioned that she was on the other side of the street, I felt like most of my thought process is just unraveled by the seams. So I don't think I had this. If I did, I did have this. She was on a, wow. This is why you check the evidence, people. Exactly why you check the evidence. She is across the street. Interesting. But he's actually giving us a close-up, which I appreciate. Because was she on the sidewalk or was she actually in the street?
Runs a rather wide street, Briar Road.
So it's wide on top of it. He actually admits this.
Which means that the distance from the Gerdeb house to the scene is some, 15 yards.
Let me see. Wow. 15 yards. That's around 14 meters. For 14 meters? Oh, that's a little further than I imagined. This is exactly why I said that my thought process is just unraveled. I probably forgot. I'm sure at one point I took that into account a while ago, but that was definitely pre me doing this in the first place.
And, as you ladies and gentlemen of the jury rightly noted as having portentous significance, the fourth book was found in the victim's clutches. In other words, this murdering book, wantonly held by the lady of the house, traveled some 15 yards to lie on an opposite side of the road, neatly between the collapsed victim's finger and thumb.
Now I'm really starting to lean towards my second thought process. That she was not the one to actually pick up the book. But it makes me question things a little bit more. It's the chicken and the egg. Did the knife happen first or second? Because I just don't understand. Even then, if they stabbed her first and then put the book in her hand, or I don't know. I feel like I'm missing with this piece of information. I feel like I might be glossing over a potential opportune step. I know obviously it didn't fly into her hands. He's absolutely right. But it was ludicrous for him to even make it seem like that was a possibility in the first place.
Is that your final conclusion, my land and deluded friend?
Don't call me your friend and you call me deluded in the same sentence.
And did the jackknife follow a near identical trajectory to plunge into the middle of the victim's back? This fantasy is somewhat stretching the notion of having a bad day for the victim, I think.
When you put it like that, I absolutely agree. But again, yes, fantasy. I think the culprit did it, and it's looking like Patricia. Patricia or Roly, but I'm leaning towards Patricia.
Even those pathetic serialized detective stories have more believable plots.
Serialized detective stories have more believable plots. There's nothing I can say to that. I'm an ace attorney. Ace attorney gets a little far-fetched sometimes.
That prosecutor loves the sound of his own voice. Mr. Sato! Serialized detective stories are pathetic, are they? How dare he?
Maybe let's pick our battles here. We have a guy that we don't want to become guilty.
My lord, might I be allowed to speak? As judicial assistant, you may speak for the defense, yes. Go ahead.
He's a nice judge.
Prosecution may consider the idea of fantasy, but what the defense has postulated was believable enough to persuade the jury to change its leaning.
I don't know if that's the good argument.
And as such, the court has a duty to explore this alternative explanation as thoroughly as possible. To that end, Juror number 4, Mrs. Joan Garadeb, must be called to testify and submit to a cross-examination. Saints alive! A cross-examination of a juror?
I'm afraid so.
Order! 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 Well, this is highly irregular. It is unprecedented for a member of the jury to be summoned to the witness stand.
Objection!
And Von Zieks is not having it.
And unnecessary.
Oh dear, I missed what happened.
Lord Von Zieks!
I think the judge is here for anything we offer to him. He's like, oh, a juror on stand? Yes, I don't mind it. It's a little crazy, but I don't mind it. Von Zieks is like, no, we have allowed 2 summation examinations. They're not going to get their way with allowing a juror to step onto the witness stand.
There are already witnesses in the stand whose testimony the defense may further cross-examine. If my learned friend's farcical theory has any truth in it, then both her burning book and a jackknife must have flown through the sky for this couple's eyes. and we must assume they would be able to testify accordingly. What say you, witnesses?
I don't trust the witnesses now. I don't trust Patricia most of all. Shh. Which I don't remember the order of events. One of them walked away from the crime scene, and one of them stayed at the crime scene. Unfortunately, I don't remember which was which. But that one person, whoever which one it was, they had means and opportunity. Not motive, but means and opportunity. I don't know what the motive will be. Yes, Constable Roly Beat reported for duty, sir.
Well, good morning, officer.
Sorry for dozing until now, sir. I haven't slept for a month on account of a villain who's appeared on my beat, sir. Oh, they are so heroic, these London bobbies. Patricia, my darling, I've been neglecting you, but no more. Oh, Roly, my hero, you make me swoon.
Very well. I hereby reject the defense's request.
Oh, Susato, it wasn't a bad idea. I don't think it was a bad idea, but I think Von Zeke's route might actually lead to a more solid, like we might get more solid information. I feel like, or at least I'm pretty sure we could just all accept that Joan never left the building, basically. So the amount of information we could get from her at this point would be very low.
In order the witnesses in the stand to testify again, state forthwith before the court any details pertaining to the defense's alternative explanation of events.
Yes, sir. I honestly don't know what kind of voice to give him. That seems a little too light. But I also don't want him to lose his little bit of like sleepy allure. Constable Beats report. Let's see. What kind of voice? This case has nothing to do with Mr. and Mrs. Garridum. Believe me, a London Bobby is good for his word. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to stick to something like that. There's a billion people in this. Like, I think about the future and I'm like, I still have a lot more other voices to try to think up or whatever. You see, sir, the windows on the top floor of the Garridum house are top-hinged basements? Shoot, I didn't read that last word right. Was it basements? Casements. Top-hinged casements. Obviously, if anything had been thrown out of the window, we would have seen it. I did leave the scene to go and fetch help, but my trusty Roly was there to make sure nothing was disturbed. I can't see Roly being the type to put a crime scene, tamper with the crime scene. He doesn't seem the type. If I know he was off duty, but I don't know anything about the guy, correct? I don't. It just seems like if you're going to be a scuffed cop, you would have been a scuffed cop. I guess is kind of my leaning. But this makes it difficult. I was just saying that one or the other did it, but I kind of was hoping it was Patricia that got left behind. But since it wasn't her, I'm just gonna continue listening to it. I didn't take my eyes off of the crime scene. Wait, off the crime scene for one moment, sir. Nothing strange to report on that front, sir. I don't want him to sound country. So difficult.
Well, this is quite startling. Top-hinged casement windows. That detail was not in the police report, Constable. How dare you leave out such valuable knowledge?
Yes. Sorry about that. I must have been a little drowsy.
You cannot excuse your sins with drowsiness every time, Constable.
No, sir. I'm sorry, but what exactly is a top-hinged casement window?
And you cannot excuse your ignorance with such trite remarks, my land friend.
I feel like that's contradictory. He can't be a learned friend and ignorant. Okay, maybe he can. I'm the one that's naive.
Of course, sorry.
I found it, Mr. Naruhodo. Cast your mind back to the windows in Mr. and Mrs. Ghirardab's room. They kind of had that, like, dun. Like, what do you call that? It's not half of a pentagon. Alright, I'll try. Oh. I mean, I see. I had it wrong. I thought it was kind of like the ones that open like this. Not like, wait, how is, like this? Like a hinge? Wait, I'm not doing it in front of the camera. So the window opens in order to allow air to circulate inside the house. As is a top hinge casement window. It swings open along the upper edge, you see. This changes even more! Can I even try to be correct if I know nothing? Okay, let's think. The book definitely fell out of this window. And if we believe it to be, the knife also came from the same window. However, the angle of which the knife and the book would have fallen would definitely be directly under the window, correct? Right. It would definitely have been directly under the window. Which leads me to believe that somebody picked up the knife and the book. But why would they do that? That doesn't make any sense. Like, the book is what's throwing me off. I feel like I can't... Okay, I don't want to take too much time right here, but look, this is why I'm confused. I'll try my best to explain how my brain is processing this to the best of my abilities. So when I think, especially now with this information, like before I was thinking that the windows opened, I think I'm in front of the camera, but like this, you know? But it doesn't even open like that. So that kind of already shatters some thought processes, because the way the window currently is, it means that it definitely is going to fall right in front of the Ghirardab household. But my confusion comes into play with the book and the knife, the chicken and the egg in my mind, because it's kind of like if the culprit picked up both the book and the knife, I don't understand why they would put the book in her hand, except in order to pin the blame on the Ghirardabs, right? I guess that's like the only reason I could see, because otherwise it's like you could just take the knife, stab her, and walk off. Why place the book in her hand? That's it. Like, why? Like, if you stab her, what would be the point in planting more evidence beyond the knife? That's what I could not get out. I hope that made sense now, but it was like my mind just kept swirling around over and over in my head. Like, something's not adding up. It's not adding up. And it's not adding up because the book doesn't matter anymore. Like, if both the book and the knife falls right there in front of the window, in front of the Ghirardab's house, someone finds the knife and the book, why plant the book in her hand? You could have as easily just put it on the sidewalk, right? Like, it just feels like she would have picked up the book, but that she's across the street. Oh man, I hate this case. Especially now that you know that the knife and the book, they had no way of crossing. They had no way of even landing in Briar Road, like, at all, because of the way the window opens.
I'm glad you've rectified your ignorance. A casement window's most prominent feature is its stay, a metal bar which prevents the window from being opened beyond a certain amount.
It prevents it opening? This is all news to me. It's news to me too, Ryunosuke. It's news to me too. Absolutely correct, sir. In other words, if a book or knife were to have been thrown through the open window, it would have clattered against the pane and fallen straight down to the pavement below. I know I've been wrong this whole time, but I'm starting to mull some other stuff over. Like the fact that he woke up, you know? Like Roly woke up for this. He was like, you know what? I want to tell my side of the story. He was alone with the lady's body. What? But that means she was already dead. I was like, maybe he killed her. No, that doesn't make any sense. Neither one of them could have killed her because they discovered her while getting ready to be on their anniversary dinner or something. So that doesn't make any sense. Someone else would have killed her. So Roly is speaking from the perspective of just discovering the body. And he's like, she's across the street. I don't know. I just don't understand. What at this point, I don't have a suspect, and I hate it because it can't be Joan. It can't be. It can't be Patricia. Unless both of them were in cahoots, but that doesn't make any sense. It's their anniversary. The last thing they're thinking about, I would think, is stabbing some lady, unless they knew her for some reason. But he's the officer. I don't know. Nothing makes sense. I'm trying to see. It's like I have no motive. There's no motive.
You see the problem then. Good. Your education of windows is complete. There was never any possibility of either the book or the knife traveling 15 yards over the road. That is, unless the window pane has been shattered, something we've discounted already.
Yeah, we know that the window wasn't shattered. That can't be. Did you see that, Roly? The young Japanese man just collapsed in agony. Oh yes, my darling, I saw it. I saw he crumbled before me.
Oh gosh.
He didn't crumble before you. Oh, Roly, you're so strong. How is this happening? I haven't even started the cross-examination yet, and already my argument's been destroyed.
Constable, if you could drag yourself upright again, the court awaits your cross-examination.
My lord. Oh good, another desperate situation. Cross-examination. This case has nothing to do with Mr. and Mrs. Garrett. Believe me, a London Bobby is good for his word. How can you say that? Like, I guess he's basically saying that the knife in the book did not come from the Garrett household. The way Mrs. Garrett fainted, I want to say that I could believe that it did come from their household. Like, I could understand one thing maybe, but two things, and she faints, then obviously it most likely happened. How can you say that for certain? A very good question, sir. And the answer is this. It has the noble founding principles of the force written on it as a reminder to all us policemen of our sworn duty. I hope my voice isn't cutting out. My microphone's kind of placed in a weird place. Showed us that before, didn't he? Did he? I can't say I remember. I remember it. To patrol the streets of London town and uphold the peace of the common man. That's what the job's all about. And that is why I can stand here today beside my long-suffering wife and tell you a Bobby's good for his word. rubbing my tired eyes admittedly. Sir. Oh, Roly, you're so manly. Of course I am, my darling Patricia. Oh, Pat. Oh, Roly.
No, none of this is what I meant. I meant, how can you say for certain that this case has nothing to do with Mr. and Mrs. Girardot?
Ah, I see, sir. You should have said so earlier, sir.
I basically did.
Yes, well, so could you answer the question?
That was a waste of time then.
Absolutely, sir. I will answer it to the fullest of my abilities, sir. There's a surprising reason why Mr. and Mrs. Girardot's domestic dispute can't be related to this case. But before I get into that, sir, there's one thing.
Yes?
I'd very much like you all, and all your countrymen, to understand the great British institution of Scotland Yard. So I hope you'll take back some tales of us London bobbies and how we uphold our guiding principles.
I wasn't planning on going back just yet. I only just arrived here.
So to that end, sir, I'd be happy to lend you my warrant card for your perusal. But I must warn you, you won't be able to get through it without shedding a few tears.
Thank you. I'll try. Small voting wallet that identifies London bobbies and contains the rules of conduct to which they must... Let me see.
You see, sir, the windows,
I want to look at the evidence. Principles of policing. A policeman will strive to preserve the peace within his allotted beat. Item 2. A patrolling officer is expected to walk 20 miles around his beat every day for the furtherance of community relations. Oh, this is different. This is principles of policing, and this is the Metropolitan Police Regulations. Item 1. Any crime falls under the jurisdiction of the beat in which they are discovered. Oh, any crimes fall under the jurisdiction of the beat. Item 2. When a crime is discovered on his beat, a policeman must assist with initial investigations and help detectives. Okay.
Hold it!
Gotta say about this. By which you mean they don't open fully, is that correct?
yes, sir. They're just there to allow a bit of air through the house, you see? So they're restricted as to how much they open.
And therefore, anything thrown out of the window from inside the room simply strike the pane and fall to the street directly below. For clarity, allow me to mark the map. Here is the location where objects would have fallen. Yes! Directly opposite the scene of the crime on the other side of the rather wide road. Directly opposite the scene of the crime. Directly opposite. Look at it like that. At first I thought it was kind of more like this, like a diagonal. But now looking at it, it is directly across. That bothers me. It's like I can't think. Directly opposite? Like, what are the chances of her being stabbed directly opposite the scene of the crime? Not that makes sense though. Okay, I'm just gonna keep listening. But the fact that he highlighted directly opposite, I know sometimes it doesn't matter, but directly opposite. It's like, seriously, just directly opposite. Would it have been so hard for somebody to mention this top hinge casement thing before? Yeah, I'm like, why didn't Von Zeeks just say something during the summation examination then? Well, I have another question for you, Constable.
And what would that be, sir?
How do you even know? Why will you have any idea what sort of windows Mr. and Mrs. Girardot's house is furnished with?
Ah, well, sir, that's very simple. You see, I helped with the investigation yesterday. Do you have something to add, Mrs. Beat?
Sorry.
You look, well, delighted. Is there some particular reason for that?
Oh, I was just remembering, that's all. You really were so lucky.
Lucky? What do you mean?
Well, of course I feel terrible for the poor woman who was attacked. Don't misunderstand me, please. We were just so lucky it didn't happen on Roly's bait. It was so close, you say?
Oh, I hadn't realized.
Oh yes, that street, Briar Road, is the boundary between Roly's bait and the next one. Isn't that right, my love?
Constable Beat. Oh, yes, that's right. That's the reason I was helping out with interviewing the occupants of the Gyarados household yesterday. The house is on my beat, you see. Duh. Wait a second. Roly was alone. She really did just pick up the book and a knife comes down on her. But he wanted to spend the evening with his wife. So he moved the body? Like, I mean, if you're gonna move the body, you would probably just pull it across the street, like parallel line, right? That makes sense. That makes sense. I can't rule that one out. The only thing that doesn't make sense, I would say the only thing that would make sense is Patricia. They both discovered the body together, right? So she would have known what side of the street the body was originally discovered on, I would think. So I don't know. I feel like that's kind of a loophole. Especially since she's the one that's mentioning it. Like, she could have just kept shut if she truly believed that was the reason why, I don't know. I mean, that's a good theory, but that's all it really is. It still could have been just somebody stabbed her with the knife falling through the window or something. That was really cutting it close then.
Constable, I wonder if you could clarify something. If the Gyarados household is on your beat, does that mean that the pavement next to it is as well?
Outside Mr. Gyarados' house? Yes, ma'am. The pavement on that side of the road is part of my beat.
I see. I was unaware of that too.
I do. Of course you wouldn't know, but that gives him motive. That's motive. Like, dude, we were missing motive the whole entire... Well, no, we weren't. Actual motive. I was saying that Joan did it out of jealousy. Like, maybe that was the lady, but... Like, we don't even know... If we didn't know her name, she probably didn't know her name either. And we know she was in the house. But that's true motive. Like, I feel like this is, like, the first time it actually feels like building blocks are falling into place. It's their anniversary. If the book and the knife came down on the Mr. Gyarados on their road and she got stabbed there, right? Then he's looking at this like, oh no, we can't have our celebration anymore for our anniversary. But the thing is, like I said before, Patricia, I don't know. Wouldn't she remember that? Like, why would she bring it up in court? It just seems like she would have kept her mouth shut if she realized the body was moved, because she was there when the body was discovered. I don't know. I still feel like I don't have everything.
Just think, if the woman had been attacked just on the other side of Briar Road, I would never have been able to go for that meal to celebrate our wedding anniversary. That's the life of a Bobby, after all.
See, that's the thing. That is indeed the thing.
Extraordinary people are Bobbies, tirelessly working for the benefit of all Londoners.
Do you know what I think? I think it was the good Lord's way of rewarding my Roly for all of his hard work.
I'm starting to think your Roly just just tampered with a crime scene. And that's why we're even here today.
But you think so, my darling? That must be it, Pat, my love. That must be it.
And he's also been acting weird again. Ever since she's mentioned it, he's gotten back sleepy. He's been ... Now he's saying that must be it, Pat, my love. That must be it. He's not excited. Like whenever she speaks to him, he's always like excited, pulling up guns. Like, dude. I think perhaps we should make sure we have that information officially on record. But I mean, like I said, it doesn't make sense. She would have noticed that. And then it's like the fact that we're actually kind of like talking about it too leads me to believe otherwise. But I don't know. Pavement where the victim was found lies just outside Constable Beat's beat, the border of which runs down the middle of Briar Road. So I guess, you know, we haven't really examined the fact that he could have just pulled the body parallel. So that way the body was not on his side of the street.
And that was my turn, I think.
Okay, Pat, tell us about yourself.
Obviously, if anything had been thrown out of the window, he would have seen it.
But according to my notes here, the sun had gone down already and it was dark.
Oh, but Roly and I were strolling along, gazing at the night sky, looking for a lucky star.
Sorry?
A star that would guide us to eternal happiness.
Can't it guide you to answer the question?
If a flaming book had cut across the sky in front of us.
It can't cut across the sky, Roly. We have already spoken about this. You have already brought it up. It just would have fallen flat.
Would have lit up like a shooting star. And if I'd seen a shooting star, I would have made a wish upon it. Had it really been an inspector, I would have said, 3 times at least. Of course, what with the smog and everything, we couldn't actually see any stars.
In short, are you trying to say that neither a book nor a knife crossed the sky before you?
Yes, sir, that is correct, sir. As the night sky in London is starless, sir.
Certainly seems like they're telling the truth.
And then we saw the poor woman fall to the ground, so we ran straight over to help her. I did leave the scene to go and fetch help, but my trusty Roly was there to make sure nothing was disturbed.
Nothing was disturbed. That's a beautiful way of putting it. Because now I'm starting to think he was the one to disturb it. I mean, I feel like he disturbed it just to have an anniversary dinner. Not just, I mean, I guess that meant something more to him. He just told us he worked a month straight or something crazy like that. Like it just makes me think of, and this is kind of veering a little bit, but at the same time, not fully. But it's just about people that I've read, like manakas that work hard over in Japan and stuff. Like Oda Ichiro and Kishimoto, the author of Naruto. I think at one point he mentioned how he didn't even get a chance to have a honeymoon with his wife by the time he finished Naruto. So it's like, when you don't have time for your significant other, you kind of want that time when it's granted to you. So I can understand if he actually did tamper around with something.
That's right, yes. If it had been on Roly's bait, I would have known exactly where I was going, of course.
See, this is also making me feel like that's not... She is the reason why I'm like, maybe not. Maybe not. Like, I feel like it's a plausible route, but she's disturbing me from believing that it's a true route.
Don't feel bad, my love. Can't be expected to know the location of every police box on every bait. So really tell me the way. I sort of got a little lost on the way. Patricia, my darling, that's why I love you. Your terrible sense of direction is bewitching to me.
So she's a Zorro. She's a Zorro. And that's All right, never mind. Never mind. If the percentage has moved up. Wow, she got lost on the way to the police box. She has a terrible sense of direction. So by the time she returned, she got mixed up. Like the body was just the body on the road. You know, the body on the roadside was the body on the roadside. It didn't matter which side of the street it was on because it was on Briar Road.
Oh, Pat. Oh, Roly.
My only guess is, since he told her where to go, but when does she need to cross the street herself? I don't know. It's like it feels right, but it doesn't. Like I don't know. Oh please.
So I suppose I was gone for about 15 minutes. Like I said, my Roly was at the scene the whole time, making sure nothing was disturbed.
I feel like he disturbed the dang crime scene. I was off duty at the time, of course. But a true Bobby is never really off duty, sir. I didn't take my eye off the crime scene for one moment, sir. Nothing strange to report on that front, sir. No, you didn't take your eyes off the crime scene because you were moving the crime scene. Nothing to report? It's amazing how easily I'm like swayed. I have blamed all sorts of people in this case. I feel like Joan was a good 70%. But now I'm starting to think him. And we still haven't seen the other two people again. So I don't know. I feel like we might go into a day 2. I have no idea.
That's correct, sir. I had my eyes wide open the entire time. Never looked away for a second. No one else approached the scene, and nothing was removed from it.
Nothing was removed. But it was, technically. It's just not in the way that you're making it sound. You didn't take anything from the scene, but you moved it.
I could swear to that on the yacht's honor, sir.
Really? That seems a little strange.
Beg your pardon, sir. Strange, sir. Seems altogether regular to me.
I'm getting a little nervous there, really. This burned copy of the Lion's part was originally in the Garadeb household. So the question remains, how did it find its way into the hand of the victim? Exactly. That was always a stickling point for me before this whole scene started up. Like, why would the killer plant a book in her hand? But now it's kind of like back to where I was originally thinking in the last few episodes or whatever, that she bent down and picked it up, and then while her back was bent, especially with the way that is, ooh, the knife bounces off there and then just yeah, there's like no doubt at that point. Like, it actually makes it more plausible. Like before, it was kind of like, okay, the book could have been over here, the knife could have been over there, but now it's more plausible because there is only one way to go but down at that point of it hitting the window. Can you shed any light on that, seeing as you were at the scene of the crime the entire time? Uh-oh.
Could it be a different copy, sir? One that just happened to be burnt as well?
Unfortunately for you, I don't believe that to be true. What are the chances? Even if that were possible, why would the victim have been gripping a book like that in her hand? As we can see from this photographic print, she had a bag over her shoulder.
Well, sir, that book was in the lady's hand from the moment we arrived at the scene.
Is that so? There's something about this statement that's not sitting right with me. Two mysteries of how that knife ended up in her back and how that book ended up in her hand. There must be some common thread between them. I feel like I'm like 6 steps ahead of you, Ria Nosuke.
Can I ask you something? Please, Mr. Lawyer, sir? Please, Mr. Lawyer, sir, no!
Oh, yes, of course, what is it?
You're doubting us, aren't you? Could tell.
What? I wasn't really. I mean, what's she doing? I'm just trying to find answers here. This is literally my job.
Please, just because I'm a woman doesn't make my testimony any less valuable.
Nobody's thinking that. Especially considering I'm a woman, too.
You might just say me as the wife of a policeman, but I'm a woman of my word, I am.
I really don't remember ever suggesting that I doubted you.
No excuses. I don't want to hear it.
I feel like her voice has changed like 70 times.
My voice will be heard. My lord, you'll let me speak, won't you?
Yes, Mrs. Beat. I will allow you to supplement your testimony if you so desire. Sometimes the path of least resistance is the sage one.
This judge is probably my favorite character out of all this. That was a very, very loud mutter. I heard that.
That Japanese man thinks a policeman's wife's word counts for nothing, does he? Well, watch out, sir. I might let you get away with something like that, but my Roly won't.
No, he would probably just bust us up with a cap or 3. He was so ready. Like, I still can't believe that scene happened. It's the only time that scene has happened to this point, too. Duly noted, Mrs. Beat. Please, I humbly ask you to continue.
What could she possibly be about to say, I wonder?
You and me both, Susato. You and me both.
I know what I saw. My eyes never let me down. My sense of direction is a little off sometimes, though.
See, that sense of direction is probably what's tripping you up. Mrs. Beat, nobody is questioning what you've told us.
I saw it, I did. That evening, I saw it clearly. The little Easter man with the whiskers and the funny curved back slinking away from the scene.
Ha!
And I know what I didn't see as well. I didn't see any flaming bucks or knives flying through the sky.
All very clear. I mean, she could have saw him returning to the abode, I suppose. You also mentioned something about having a poor sense of direction?
Oh, yes, well, that's a little embarrassing, really. I'm always ending up at the wrong place when I've made arrangements to meet Roly. He gets ever so cross.
It was to his benefit for that day. Excuse me. You gotta say for yourself, sir. Constable Beat, is there a problem?
No, sir. No problem, sir.
Did your wife's remark just bring something to mind, perhaps?
Oh, well, in a way, sir. Yes, sir. I was just remembering that the same thing happened that evening is all.
You mean Mrs. Beat lost her way on the night of the incident? Oh, now he's bringing it up. Never mind. We're back down to 75%.
Well, you see, I sent her off to find a police box in the next bait over from mine. But she was gone a fair bit longer than what I was expecting, unless that was what you were expecting. I thought she'd be back inside 10 minutes. My darling was gone a good 15. Oh, really? Such a tease! The reason I was so long was because of the bouquet, you silly. The bouquet?
Sorry, what bouquet are you talking about?
Oh, it was a present for a wedding anniversary. Well, he's so romantic. He saved up for it with farthings and half pennies he found in the gutter while doing his rounds.
Yes, how romantic.
I'd forgotten all about it until just now. Had you, my darling? Oh, yes.
Something about that bouquet.
But that was just between us.
Something about the bouquet. Something about the bouquet. I don't know what it is.
No talking about it to anyone else, darling. You have to promise.
Here I was, no more than 30 minutes ago saying how I didn't doubt Roly that much, but now I don't know. I feel like I don't trust him.
Really? Oh,
What's that all about? What did a bouquet have to do with this? How did a bouquet lead her? It's like I can't get it because I'm missing information that they're withholding on purpose. Constable Beat looked very obviously troubled during that exchange. I'm afraid I can't offer any useful insight, Mr. Naruhodo. But I'm quite sure of one thing. We have to ask Mrs. Beat about the bouquet. Mrs. Beat, this bouquet you just mentioned. I'd like you to add details about it to your testimony. Please.
oh, really? Yes, I'd love to.
Even Von Zeeks is probably like, I hope this doesn't mess me up, is probably what he's thinking. Probably new information he hasn't even heard of.
What happened was I dropped my bouquet and ended up losing my way for a while.
Hold it!
You mean you dropped the bouquet at the scene of the crime?
Yes, that's right. Oh, I was so upset. When we ran over and saw her was a woman with a knife in her back, I was so shocked. I dropped the bouquet Roly gave me. It was in a dark spot where the tree lights weren't casting any light. I didn't notice at first.
She especially couldn't find it because the crime scene was on a different side of the street. Bingo. Hook, line, sinker. Let's just give the dog a bone. And then you went to the police box to report it to the policeman whose beat it was on. I mean, that has to be it, right?
Yes, and I came back to the scene together with the other constable, you see. That's when I spotted my bouquet again. The funny thing was, when I went to pick it up, it was nowhere near the victim's body at all.
In case you need reminding, Mrs. Beat, the victim is not deceased.
Sometimes I need reminding from myself.
I was all flustered for a moment before I heard a voice calling me from the other side of the road.
Your husband, presumably.
That's right, silly me, I'd gone over to the wrong side of the street. Although, I want to blame the bouquet this time. I think how it got there, I really can't.
It's proof. Oh, it's 100% now. It's 100% now. He moved the body. And I forgot it was foggy. So there were details you couldn't see, but she actually wasn't lost. She actually went right back to where she needed to go. Wow. He dang well moved the body. So the bouquet somehow moved from one side of Briar Road to the opposite. It's easy. Because he just said direct opposite, you're saying opposite, it's all opposites.
Curious indeed.
Isn't it? But the rest of it is, I forgot to pick the bouquet up again when we left the scene. That beautiful rose really bought me, but that change from the gutter he spent so long collecting.
My bouquet, do you perhaps mean this solitary rose?
Oh! Oh! Yes! Yes, that's it! That's the bouquet Roly bought me for our anniversary with bits of change he found in the gutter.
Maybe just call it a rose. It's not a bouquet. It's a rose.
Tell us, Lord Von Zeeks, where did you come by that flower? According to the report by the police officer in charge of the crime scene investigation, it was found on the edge of the pavement in front of the Garadab household.
In front of the Garadab's house?
Although it wasn't noticed until the morning, as it lay where the street lamps cast no light. It was believed to be of no relevance to the case since it was found on the opposite side of the thoroughfare.
More proof! Ding, 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 we have ourselves a winner. Roly! I mean, I could understand it. He didn't do it a la malice or to be malicious or anything crazy like that. He did it because he wanted to spend time with his wife. But this all could have been avoided. We wouldn't even be in court right now if he didn't move stuff around.
Oh, thank you, sir, thank you. Could I have it back now, please?
This is evidence.
No, I think for good measure, this rose should be added to the court record as evidence.
Oh.
The anniversary bouquet has been entered into the court record. Present for Patricia Bede from
It's a symbol of a love. I want it back after the trial. Do you hear me? I want it back.
Good grief! Rest assured that I shall do my very best not to forget Mrs. Beat. Believe you and me.
I did take my eye off the crime scene for one moment, sir. Nothing strange to report on that front, sir.
Oh, excuse me.
Oh, Mr. Naruhodo, what do you make of all this?
Yes. The whole idea of an invisible attacker has been troubling me all along. Yes, me too. But I believe I'm starting to get a picture of what really happened here now. The fourth book that had no business being at the scene of the crime made me sure that Mrs. Ghirardelli was hiding something from us. But it's becoming increasingly clear that someone else has been hiding something from us as well. I think I may already be armed with everything I need to strike a decisive blow here. This time is going to expose the whole truth about this mysterious affair. So this trial is about to come to an end. The only trouble I'm having.
Hold it!
Nothing to report?
That's correct, sir. I had my eyes wide open the entire time, never looked away for a second. No one else approached the scene, and nothing was removed from it. I can swear to that on the yard's honor, sir.
Okay, he's lying for sure about this. Really, that seems a little strange.
Beg your pardon, sir. Strange, sir. Seems altogether regular to me.
He said that before. This burnt copy of the Lion's Pride was originally in the Ghirardelli household, so the question remains, how did it find its way into the hand of the victim? Can you shed any light on that, seeing as you were at the scene of the crime the entire time? He doesn't want to tell the truth about that.
Aha! Could it be a different copy, sir? When it just happened?
Oh, did I already do this? Can I skip? Oh, I can skip it. I did already read this. Like, it sounds familiar. Interesting. For some reason, I thought I didn't read that. Sorry. Now it's all about presenting at the right part. Okay, we got the rose. Wait. Okay. Obviously. Oh man, I must be more tired than I thought I was. I want to present this?
Objection!
You claim, Constable Beat, there was nothing to report in the 15 or so minutes you were guarding the scene. But that cannot be.
What? What do you mean to say?
Your testimony just now, Mrs. Beat, you explained to the court that when you arrived back at the scene of the crime with the policeman assigned to that beat, the bouquet you had dropped at the victim's side was no longer anywhere nearby. And unfortunately, even though we're very, very close to wrapping this up, and I think, the whole entire trial, I'm going to end it here at 50-something minutes. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I'm pretty sure even you guys can probably see that we're actually heading to that finish line. So I don't really think there's any. I don't think I could say anymore. I've already said all that needed to be said earlier. But yeah, thanks again for watching. Hopefully next episode we slam the books on this one. Roly, your heart was in a noble place, but you gave us a 3-hour trial. Thanks to that. But anyways, I hope you all have a great and wonderful day. Thanks for sticking around and playing along with me. Until next time, bye.